Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know, if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know, if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
Or stare into the unknown, 'cause you're a strong girl. You got this. I feel the fight in you. Strong girl, positive. You're gonna see this through. Like a straight up miracle. You're a force to behold. In the face of losing the race.
know, really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know, if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
Good morning, everybody. Reverend Derek here, and welcome to the Love is Greater Than Fear Spiritual Sunday. And for our Sunday talk and meditation, it's a new month. Welcome to May. Now, our annual theme this year has been a year of miracles. And we've talked about a lot this year so far. We just wrapped up a conversation on the law of divine compensation. We've explored a miracle mindset. All of this material that we've been exploring this year so far, 5 months into the year, is all aimed at helping you create a year of miracles. A year of miracles for you might look very different than a year of miracles for me. But the idea here is that we learn some practices, some principles, and some ways of being in our lives that help transform us into magnets for our highest and greatest good. This is very different than typical goal setting. What we're exploring here is how we can remove the layers of fear to uncover the source of love so that we can become that magnet for good. And that magnet for good that you become can really transform your life and create those miracles. So I appreciate you showing up this morning. I'm going to pop up my slides right here. So for anybody who's new, if you've never watched before, you've never tuned in, welcome. We're so happy you're here. And for the people who watch every week, thanks so much for supporting the center in all the ways that you do. Super excited about today's talk. So this is the Love is Greater Than Fear Spiritual Center. We are a virtual spiritual center founded by Reverend Derek, that's me, in 2021. We're actually about to hit 6 months of doing these talks and meditations. So we do these talks and meditations every Sunday at 10 a.m. And in these, we're always exploring universal spiritual principles. Our vision as a center is to be a place for personal and planetary awakening. Our mission is to support awakening by living and teaching universal spiritual principles of love, peace, and joy. We do this by offering classes, workshops, and counseling that promotes the healing and transformation necessary for both our personal and planetary awakening. Now, who is welcome to this center? I like to go over this because let me tell you, when I started looking for a spiritual center years ago, this would have been like 2007. I was looking for a center, a church or something. And I was so nervous because I'm like, oh, they're going to like, I had this idea that like churches were going to be homophobic or they weren't going to support, they weren't going to have like activism. And I just had these thoughts, and which is true for some churches. So I think it's really important to address who is welcome at our center because not everyone is welcome at all centers. So at our center, everybody really is welcome because we believe that everybody is, no matter who you are one of God's children. So it doesn't matter what your gender is, your race, your sexual orientation, your nationality, your religious background, your political affiliation. It doesn't matter any seeming differences. It doesn't matter what you have done in your past. None of that matters because we are all the children of God, and we all deserve a life of peace, love, freedom, and creative expression. Now, on top of that, we believe in the dismantling of the thought systems of fear that would hinder any person's purpose on earth. That purpose is to be love, and we believe in love and equality for all. What do we teach? So basically, in a nutshell, what we teach is that God is our Father and our source, that all of his children are one and equal, and that God is at all times speaking to and speaking through his children to guide them. We believe that miracles are natural and are our birthright. We believe that miracles are shifts in perception from fear to love. We believe there is no order of difficulty in miracles, meaning it doesn't matter what challenge you're facing today. The same principles, whether it's a small challenge, a big challenge, can create a miracle for you. We believe that prayer and meditation will transform any life. We believe that love, peace, and forgiveness are our purposes here on earth. And we believe that when one of us awakens, the entire planet heals. So we've got our spiritual declaration we're going to say together this morning. So I hope you can see that clearly on your screen. So let's say this together. I surrender this day to God, that he may lead me to deeper peace, greater love, and fuller life expression. I surrender all my fears and desires to him. I ask that he show me the path from fear to love. Amen. Now, for anybody who might need a little extra spiritual guidance beyond our talk and meditation this morning, I want to share with you a couple things, a couple different ways that we support our community with spiritual guidance. So first and foremost, we have a prayer ministry. You can submit a prayer request on our website, and we will pray for you for the next 30 days. If you go over to loveisgreaterthanfear.org, you can click on that link to the prayer ministry. I'll also drop it in the comment section after we're all wrapped up today. We also offer classes. So on our website, you're going to find two types of classes, the Spiritual Awakening class and the Healing of the Inner Child class. These are one-on-one classes. They're 8-week programs. It's a variety of spiritual exercises and a fabulous workbook you get, with CDs you get, with meditations, with prayers, all kinds of great things like that. These classes are $250 for 8 weeks. They're one-on-one teleconference, or we can do it Google Meet, however you want to do it. If you cannot afford that, we do have scholarships available for people who cannot afford the classes. So definitely reach out to us, go to the website, fill out the contact form. We also have our Accessing Inner Wisdom counseling sessions. So I want to take a moment and tell you a little bit about this. When I was studying to become a minister through the Pathways of Light Spiritual College, this is a Course in Miracles based center. One of the things that was very unique about them is they trained us in what's called Accessing Inner Wisdom. These are counseling sessions where we're going to take about 60 minutes or so to walk you through a meditation experience to help you get your own clarity, purpose, and guidance. So instead of having a coach or a counselor give you advice and talk to you about your problems, we go direct for the source. We get you relaxed, we go into a meditative state, and we allow God, your inner wisdom, to speak through you. If you're having confusion about something, if you have a situation in your life that you can't figure out what to do, If you got some moves you need to make and you're not sure which one, the Accessing Inner Wisdom sessions are just a beautiful way to uncover that and get some real clarity and insight to your life. You can find us on social media, obviously right here on Facebook, or you might be watching on YouTube. You can also find us on Instagram. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, do all of that great stuff, guys. We're growing our community, and who knows, there could be somebody on your Facebook page, your Instagram, that needs to hear something like this today. So by sharing this content, we can have a bigger impact on people and truly be a place for personal and planetary awakening. As many of you know, we are a nonprofit and we rely entirely on your generous donations. Right now, we are trying to raise $1,100 towards our nonprofit status. This is going to help pay for the documentation fees and all the fees associated with becoming a nonprofit and obtaining the 501c3. So far, we have raised $591 out of our $1,100 goal. We're going to keep this going till June. If you would like to make a donation, I will post this in the comments after, but also if you go to our Facebook page or my personal page, it's pinned right at the top and you can make that donation there. Let's see. Perfect. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do our morning prayer. I'm going to follow that with a song I've selected to play for you guys today, and then we'll do our talk and meditation. So if you feel comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes as we pray. Dear God, we invite you into our minds and hearts this morning. We invite you into the shadow places, the places where we might be nervous or scared or fearful about something. We call you into these places that you may remind us of the love that we are, of the love you have placed within us, of the peace and the grace and the abundance that is our natural state, dear God. We ask that this morning that whatever needs to be known is known, whatever needs to be said is said, whatever needs to be experienced is experienced. I bless everyone who joins us this morning, that whatever miracle, whatever shift in perception would lead to their greatest happiness, their deepest joy, that is done this morning. And I bless everyone all around the world today who is gathered together to celebrate the God of their understanding, whether they do so in a church, a temple, a mosque, or at home in their living room, wherever their church might be, whatever it might look like, whatever religion they might be, whatever spiritual path, we bless them. For we know that all paths, and there are many paths, but we know that all paths ultimately lead to God. And in God, we will find that love is greater than fear. And we say together, amen. So I've decided to add some music to this morning's service. Music has always been one of my favorite things about attending church or attending a spiritual center. Haven't really been doing it just because I found it tricky with technology, but we're gonna play some music for you today. I'm really excited about this. As many of you probably know, Naomi Judd of the Judds country duo passed away yesterday. Their music was so influential on me when I was a little kid in the early 90s. I had the cassette of the Judds along with my Madonna tapes, and I listened to them all the time. So I'm going to play you a Judd song this morning. If you don't like country music, I'm sorry. There is a share version of it as well, but let me go ahead and pop this up. It's going to be a beautiful song. It's called Love Can Build a Bridge. Thought it was perfect for what we do here at the Love is Greater Than Fear Spiritual Center. Let me pop this up for you real quick. And we're just going to enjoy this song, and then we'll do our talk.
I'd gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet to share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. I would swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams. When all your hopes are sinking, let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I would whisper love so loudly every heart could understand. But love and only love can join the tribes of man. I would give my heart's desire so that you might see. The first step is to realize that it all begins with you and me. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? We can do anything, 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 anything. Keep believing in the power and between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Yeah, yes I do. Love can build a bridge. Love and only love between your heart and mine. Between your heart and mine.
Maybe one quick second. Well, that was beautiful. It's interesting. A Course in Miracles says that we are all ministers of God. And that's so obvious when you listen to some singers and hear the songs that they sang and also that they wrote. Naomi Judd won a Grammy for that back in 91, 92, I want to say. And it's such a beautiful song that love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. And, you know, your life is your ministry. Whatever your job is, whatever your creative desires are, you don't have to be a minister per se. Your life is your ministry. We are all ministers of God, and we all have a calling to bring love and peace into the world. And so I just prayers with the Judd's family this weekend as they mourn the loss of their mother. Also, feel free to message me and let me know how that music sounded. I wasn't sure how it would play through the screen share. So welcome to this Sunday's talk on mysticism and miracles. I am super excited for this conversation, and I'm excited for this conversation for a couple different reasons. When I started my spiritual journey back in the day, I started this like quest for what is the true religion? What is the right religion or spiritual path? What should I follow? And so I started studying all the major religious traditions. I started looking into other spiritual paths. I was looking for the one that was the true religion as I understood it to be. And along the way, I started noticing that there were similarities in all the paths. I noticed what Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Centers for Spiritual Living, would call the golden thread, this golden thread of truth that runs through all religions. Universal spiritual principles, as I would call them now. And I noticed that these truths existed in all of these religions. And I also noticed that every religion seemed to have its own mystical component. There's Christian mysticism. In Islam, there's the Sufis. In Judaism, there's the Kabbalah. I studied a lot of the Kabbalah. I really liked the Kabbalah. And as I was studying and experiencing it, I came to see that there was a religion of love at the heart of all these teachings, and that there was this mysticism, and that this mysticism was the real, true path. But it could be found in all the paths. And so when people ask me now what religion I am, which makes sense, I'm a minister, I have a church. People will ask me what religion I am, and I have no answer for that. I do not have a good answer for that. The closest is I believe in mysticism, but that isn't easily explained. And so I just don't really identify necessarily with any religion other than the religion of love. And mysticism is the path of the heart. So that's what we're going to be exploring today and the next couple of weeks. And during these next couple of weeks, I am going to challenge each and every one of you to the best of your ability to walk a deeper, more close, more, how do I say this? I'm going to challenge you to walk more deeply with God in the next couple weeks and see what miracles begin to happen through and around you. Now, it's always a good idea to define something when we are talking about it. So I went to good old Merriam-Webster to see what the actual definition of mysticism is. Let me pull that up for you real quick. The experience of mystical union or direct communion with ultimate reality as reported by mystics. Now, I love that definition. I love that definition. The experience of mystical union or direct communion with ultimate reality reported by mystics. So it's the experience of God in our lives. Sometimes I hear people talk about, ask, do you believe in God? And saying that they believe in God. And I remember reading in a book by, I want to say it was The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. I could be wrong. I think it was that book. But he said something in there that he said, I don't have a belief in God. I have an experience of God. And that is where my wisdom comes from. I know for me personally, when I started my spiritual path, at first I liked the idea of using spiritual principles to get things, to use the law of attraction, to attract things to myself, the job, the man, the car, whatever it might be. But then I also liked using it for healing my mind. I was a really insecure person at the time. So I liked using those principles and tools to do some things like that to make my life better. But as I got more deeply involved in my spiritual path, I started to have what you might call a mystical experience. I started having these experiences of God. And so in my meditation and in my prayer and in my life circumstances, that became my ultimate goal. It stopped being about getting things, and it stopped being about getting that connection and that feeling with God, because when you get that connection, when you experience God right here in the present moment, it turns you into a magnet for great things. And you of your own are very limited when it comes to goal setting and deciding what you want in your life, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't have the advantages of God, who has a distant perspective of us. And so when you focus on God being the source of all your happiness and of all your joy, then that begins to reflect in the life all around you. I do want to share with you guys a couple more quotes that I found. Give me just one second. So mysticism is a faith in a transformative higher power without dogma. Now, as I've been studying mysticism and doing a little extra research this week, that seemed to be the most common thing, is that it is a belief in, it's a faith in a transformative power without dogma, without doctrine, without dogma, without that stuff. It's going right for the experience yourself. And I love this one from Albert Einstein. Sorry if you can't read it with the logo there, but I will read it out loud. So, the most beautiful and profound emotion we can experience is the mystical. He to whom this emotion is a stranger, who can no longer wonder and stand wrapped in awe, is as good as dead. To know what is impenetrable to us really exists, is the center of true religion. So I really liked both of those, what Albert had to say and what John Mundy had to say about mysticism. So let's talk about this in like some practical ideas and terms today. So when I say the word mystic, you probably think of like some guy who goes into a mountaintop and lives away from the rest of people to go sit in meditation and prayer with God. Maybe someone who is fasting for those 40 days or for that time period. And it makes sense to have that idea of a mystic. I mean, you think about Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, praying for 40 days. You think about Buddha leaving his kingdom to go fast and meditate. And then you can also think about, there was someone else I was going to mention and I forgot. And then Muhammad going into the mountains to go create the Quran, right? And a lot of times in these stories, that it seems like these people are sacrificing, because often these stories include sacrificing connections with other people. Sometimes it includes sacrificing food, sacrificing water, right? If they're fasting, stuff like that. And there's this idea that leading a mystical life, giving our life over to God, means that it's a life of sacrifice, and that we are giving up everything if we want to have God. Like that we can't have, there's this myth in our culture that you can either serve God or you can be happy. You can't do both. And that turns people away from exploring the God within them, because they don't want to make that type of sacrifice. But here's the thing. Living a life that is not in service to God is itself a sacrifice. If you are living your life and you are not dedicating every day in service to love, then that means you are sacrificing the opportunity to experience love, peace, and joy. And instead, you will experience fear in whatever shape and form it shows up in your life. So I just want to take a moment and just like bust that myth that says that we can either serve God or we can be happy. You can do both. In fact, God knows what it's going to take to truly make Mary Ellen happy. God knows what circumstances would absolutely make Michelle happy. God knows what relationship, what job, what amount of money is going to make Shane the happiest. Because God can see what you cannot see. You can only see right here and in the present moment. And and for most of us that are right here in the present moment, all we see is the past. So God has the advantage of being able to have a fuller broader perspective of what's going on. This is why we want to choose to dedicate our life to God, because God can see yesterday, today, and tomorrow. God knows what relationship is going to be the best for you to maybe bring up some of those issues you have so they can be released and they can be healed. God knows what man or woman is going to be the best romantic fit for you. God knows what career, what job opportunity is going to help you to take flight in a bigger, broader way in your life. God knows what every little detail of it is. Course in Miracles even says that the Holy Spirit knows how much your rent is. God knows your life in and out. So by dedicating your life to him, now keep in mind, when I'm talking about God, I'm talking about God as love. So we're dedicating our life to love. By doing that, we create miracles constantly in our life. Most of us walk through life and we are full of judgments and criticisms and opinions. We're full of opinions. And because of this fullness, we're not very teachable. So the Bible says that, be ye as little children. And A Course in Miracles reminds us that the reason we want to be like little children is because little children know that they don't know, therefore they are teachable. In Buddhism and the Eastern cultures, they talk about being like an empty rice bowl. So think of yourself as a rice bowl. If you're full of rice already, and the rice is like a metaphor for your opinions, your thoughts, your criticisms, your judgments, your guilts, your fears, whatever they are, your expectations. If the bowl is full, then there's nowhere for God, for the rice he would give you, to go. So mysticism is about living a life that isn't going out there getting things and looking for trying to accumulate power in the physical world. It's about emptying yourself. It's about emptying yourself of your fears. Fears take many, many faces. Your fears, your opinions, your judgments, your criticisms, and even your expectations of the day. You know, when you're a little kid, you wake up and every day is like Christmas sometimes because you don't know what's going to happen that day. But as we get older and we're adults, we wake up and we know what's going to happen that day. That leads to depression, that leads to anxiety, that leads to limitation on the experiences we could have that day. This again is why be ye as little children is so important and so powerful, because children are teachable. And God is trying to teach us love. But that's really hard to do. It's really hard to do when you have a bad day. It's really hard to do when you've maybe had bad life experiences. You went through some trauma. We all just went through a collective trauma the past 2 years. That can be a really, really tricky thing to do. And this is why a daily spiritual practice is so important. I've said this before, but your spiritual exercises are a lot like physical exercise. The way physical exercise works is that we take some weights and we're lifting. And as we're lifting, what we're doing is we're actually working against the law of gravity to create muscles to make us stronger. Spiritual practice is the same exact thing in the sense that instead of working against the laws of gravity, we're working against the laws of fear. Fear is a gravity. It has a pull on us here in this physical world where fear is the predominant thought system. So every time we choose to think with love instead of fear, every time we have a fearful circumstance pop up and we use our spiritual muscles to exercise and lift, if you can't tell, I'm trying to lift like I'm lifting weights. We do that with our spiritual exercises. That is what makes us spiritually strong. And we want to be spiritually strong because it's so easy for the physical world to tempt us out of our true nature. When we get out of our true nature, when we fall into fear, when we start our day without meditation, without prayer, the fear takes over. It becomes overwhelming. This is where anxiety and depression comes from. This is where disease comes from. This is where all those bad things that happen out of the blue come from, was because the day was not dedicated and devoted to thoughts of love. The Course in Miracles tells us that just 5 minutes every morning spent with the Holy Spirit is enough to guarantee that your thought forms will mostly be in the hands of God, and you're less likely to make mistakes. I know I can think back on my life, the days where I made the most mistakes were not days where I woke up and thought, oh, I'm going to self-sabotage today. They were days when I woke up and I didn't meditate and I didn't pray. Mysticism is about listening to that still small voice within you that knows where to go, what to do, what to say. It is a power that develops inside of you when you spend time every morning emptying yourself of your ego and fear. The physical world will tell you, the material world, the lives we have would say, go out there and accumulate power through money, sex, influence, whatever it is. Go out there and collect and accumulate power, and then you will be powerful. But A Course in Miracles and mystical traditions would tell us that the opposite is true. That if you want real power, if you want real power, you will empty yourself of everything. Because you and I are like, we are like faucets. We are like faucets, and God is the water. And the water flows through every single faucet, but every faucet gets to choose how much of that love that is God, how much of that peace that is God, how much of that grace and that abundance that is God can spill into your life. What does this look like from a practical experience thing? So, when I was talking earlier about like the idea we might have of mystical people being in the mountaintop and communing with God. Well, I don't know how they did that, because I have a 9-to-5 and I can't exactly go spend 30 days at the top of a mountain communing with God. On top of that, I think the state of the world right now is one in which leaving society to go pray and meditate is not advantageous for the healing of our planet. And what I mean by that is our minds are all connected. As I heal, you heal. As I awaken, you awaken. So where we are right now is in the midst of a real type of spiritual warfare, where the forces of fear and the forces of love are at odds with one another. Now, love is greater than fear, but there are more people thinking with fear often than there are people thinking with love. And even when there are more people thinking with love, the people who think with fear, they get up a little bit earlier, they're a little bit more committed. And so there's this type of spiritual warfare happening. And it's really important that in the midst of this happening, that you remember who you are. Because every time I remember who I am, you are going to remember who you are. Every time we get together for a talk like this, look, I can see there's like 3 or 4 of us watching this right now. That is not the full impact of the talk today. Because later I will talk to somebody else about this and it will remind them of who they are. Later, you'll be having a conversation with a friend of yours, and you may not mention that you watched this video, but because of the meditation we did, you'll find that you are in a more loving state. And when you're in that loving state, you're going to have a more positive impact on that person. And so you help people step by step, one by one, awaken and remember who they are. So to live a mystical life in modern times, it's so important to do it in the midst of the spiritual warfare, where the forces of love and the forces of fear are at odds, because this is where you are truly powerful. You can truly empty yourself, be that faucet for the love and the grace and the peace of God to flow through, and flood this earth with grace so that miracles can happen. So let's take a moment and talk a little bit more about what this might look like in your day-to-day activities. What I do every morning is I get up, and first thing I do, Okay, third thing I do after I have a cup of coffee and feed the cat is I go sit down and I put on my meditation and I pray. I might read A Course in Miracles before that or after that, or I might read something else. But the cornerstone of that is I sit down and I meditate and pray. And in my meditation and prayer, it is, dear God, I give this day to you. I give this day to you. I surrender my hopes for the day, my dreams, my expectations for the day to you, because I know you know better than I know. And dear God, I ask for miracles, and I might ask for miracles in a specific situation. On top of that, when I'm in that meditation and prayer, another thing I do, and I find that the more I practice meditation and prayer, I find that more that the lines blur, and that it's just truly a communication with the Holy Spirit, the inner God that dwells within each one of us. And in that time, I also think about people that I'm going to interact with that day, and I send them love. I might imagine light extending from my heart to theirs. I think about people who I don't get along with, and I do the same practice. And then I think about people who I don't know that, but I might come across today, and send that love out to them. It's a type of alchemy. It kind of aligns your spiritual mind. And when you think, speak, and act the rest of the day from that place, you will experience miracles. So I don't know what challenge you might be facing today, but I can promise you this, that the areas in life where you are the most challenged are areas of life where love is not active. And so if you can start every day to focus your attention on those areas and send love to that area and ask God to come into your mind and heart and transform that area, you will absolutely create a miracle. There is no order of difficulties in miracles. One is not harder than another. They're all maximal. What is important is the love that creates them, the love that is the source of the miracle. So when we get up in the morning, it's, dear God, come into my mind, come into my heart. Show me the ways of love. I know when I first started reading A Course in Miracles, in the introduction, I wish I had it with me right now. In the introduction, it says, this is a required course. First time I read that, I thought it meant that the book itself was required. And I thought, wow, that's really ballsy. I came to understand that what it's talking about, that is the required course, is the shift from fear to love. That is a required course. You have to learn that lesson. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. It may not even be in your next lifetime. But that's what you were here for. It is a required course that we make this shift in perception from fear to love. And what is a miracle? A miracle is a shift in perception from fear to love. So I want to take a moment before we'll go into our meditation here in a few minutes. And I just wanted to share a story with you guys. So I've shared bits and pieces of my story with you guys in the past. But I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about it a little bit more today. So I first got into spirituality, and like I said earlier, I was using it to get things, to attract things to myself. That was my goal. That was my intention with it, is I wanted to be able to get things. And also, at the time, I was dealing with some migraines, and spiritual meditation was helping me get rid of those migraines. I can't say that I was looking for a deep connection with God. In 2015, I was dating this guy from 2015 to 2017. And it was an abusive relationship, mentally, emotionally, physically. I would just imagine the most horrendous things happening in a violent relationship, and that's what happened. And it was a horrible experience. It really defeated, after the relationship, I just felt the lowest I'd ever felt in my life. There were times where I definitely thought about taking my own life. I thought I couldn't do this anymore. I was just so overwhelmed with the situation. And then I prayed one day, and I prayed for God. I said, "Dear God, just like reach your hands down, take me out of this situation." And He did. As soon as I said that prayer, it was like a week later, I was out of that relationship. But then I was still in so much pain, so much hurt. I had only ever used spirituality to get things. I had never really used it to like really, really heal anything. And I didn't know how to heal. And so I ended up going to drugs and alcohol to help me cope with how I felt after that relationship. So I just, the lowest of lows is where I was, the lowest of lows. And then I went to drugs and I went to alcohol. And I remember I actually went to a psychiatrist and they were like, you need to work out. They diagnosed me with PTSD and they said, you need to work out and you need to eat right and, focus on your job. And they told me all these things to do to heal. But I needed something faster, and drugs and alcohol were the way for me to heal. And it was a lot faster that way. So it seemed to be. When I was using drugs, it would just numb me out those feelings that were so uncomfortable, that regret, that sorrow, that grieving, that shame, all that guilt and all that stuff I'd had with me. And I did that for about 1.5 years, just drugs, whatever kind of drugs, anytime I could get them. That's how I lived my life. Then I woke up one morning and I was laying in bed and I was hungover. I'd been up for like 5 days, and I just remember having this kind of felt like an out of body experience, kind of felt like this experience of like standing outside myself. And I thought to myself, well, shit, this is the best I could do. Like in AA, they say, your best thinking got you here. And I remember just laying in bed thinking, this is my best thinking got me here. This is it. This is the best I could do. And I remember making a decision that day. I said, you know what, God, this is the best I could do. So I'm going to let you take the wheel for the next year. We'll see what you can do. And I remember there's an Alanis Morissette song called Moratorium. And I was like, I'm going to put a moratorium on all decision making in my life. I'm not going to try to change jobs. I'm not going to try to go back to school. I'm not going to try and date anyone. All I'm going to do is just focus on my relationship with God and going where He would have me go, saying what He would have me say, doing what He would have me do. And so it was kind of like this dramatic handing my life over to God thing. And I think to some degree, I thought God was just going to come into my life and just make everything fabulous right away. But what actually happened was it was a step-by-step process. This is when I started studying A Course in Miracles and doing the workbook exercises in there. The workbook is just an amazing thing. The first 6 months is dismantling your thought system and fear. The next 6 months is working on a thought system of love. And it provides a tremendous amount of healing for you. If the things we talk about here on Sundays appeal to you, you definitely will want to check that out. So I gave my life over to God. And along the way, there was an experience where I felt like things were being taken away from me. Relationships were ending, jobs were ending, just things were changing. Now, in A Course in Miracles, it says along your spiritual path, at some point, you're going to feel like things are being taken away from you. But the truth is, you're just realizing how unimportant some of these things are. And what happened during that time is I developed a very much a healing of my mind and heart about that situation I just told you about. But I learned to not make decisions without God. I learned to not try to use my spiritual powers, my mystical power to get things, but instead to create an emptiness, a space within myself to reside in there and let God bring things to me that He knows would be the most beneficial for me. And I share that with you because no matter who you are, no matter what you've gone through, no matter what's going on in your life, these same principles will help you heal your life and transform your life as well. And I'm now in a place where I'm the happiest I've ever been. I have more money than I've ever made. I have a job I absolutely love. I have a great group of friends. My life has just really transformed into something that I prayed for so long. And it all comes down to that day when I decided that I would not make decisions for myself, that I would allow God to make these decisions for me. And that's what the mystic does. The mystic is, dear God, I don't know. I'm going to be like a little child. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what should happen, but I know you do. And he does. So we'll continue exploring this topic of mysticism and miracles over the next couple of weeks. What we're going to do now is we're going to go into our morning meditation. I am going to follow the meditation up with a song today. So when the meditation and prayer comes to an end, I'm going to put on some soft music. We're going to transition into a really, really pretty song. And if you want to keep your eyes closed as I play that song and just kind of bask in the energy of that, feel totally comfortable and free to do that. So if you go ahead and close your eyes.
Film degrees.
Oops, sorry about that. Go ahead and relax in your seat. Close your eyes and turn within. Let's take a couple nice deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And after you've taken a couple deep breaths, just let your breathing return to normal. And I invite you to see a golden light just wrapping itself all around your body. This golden light of God brings comfort, it brings peace. It relaxes the muscles in your face, muscles in your neck. This golden light just continues to pour down your body, through your arms, your belly, down through your legs, out through your toes and your fingertips. Relaxing into that golden light. That golden light, which might feel like the arms of God, the arms of the universe, caring for you, loving you, guiding, guarding, directing. And we just let thoughts come and go as we continue to focus on our breathing. Letting any sounds we hear just push us more deeply into the silence and into the meditation. There's no right or wrong way to do this. If you get distracted, just return your attention to your breathing. We're just going to sit in this silence for one more moment. And I invite you to call to mind a place in your life where you are not at peace. Doesn't matter what area it is. Whatever has come to mind now will do. And I want you to imagine that you take this place in life where you're not at peace and imagine it's resting in your hands as you lift up your arms and place this situation into the hands of God. Give over to Him the physical circumstances. Give over to Him any mental or emotional attachments, any expectations. Fully give over to Him this entire circumstance. God can only take from us what we will give to Him. Give to Him your sorrow, your anger, your anxiety, depression, anything that disturbs your peace. We take a nice deep breath as we hand that over. And dear God, we have given to you a circumstance in our life where we are not at peace. We give to you everything and everyone involved. We give to you our thoughts about this circumstance, our emotions, our opinions, for we would keep it not. Dear God, we invite you into our minds and hearts to transform this, to free us from any place where we are not at peace. Dear God, come into our experiences and create miracles, miracles in our minds, miracles in our hearts, miracles all around us. Where we are poor, make us abundant. Where we are depressed, make us happy. Where we are sick, make us whole. Where we are fearful, bring your love. So I know as we hand this over to God this morning, that any and all miracles that are needed for your circumstance to transform, I know that it is done. Done by the love of God, by the grace of God, by a powerful God that knows your life in and out, that knows your heart in and out. This God that would elevate you up into a new, higher realm of love, peace, joy, abundance, where all that He knows will truly make you happy will show up as we continue this journey from fear to love. We say together, Amen. And now, if you like, you can keep your eyes closed. I have a song I'm going to play for us before we wrap up here today.
know what makes me comfortable, and I know what makes me tick. And when I need to get in my way, you know how to pour it on thick. Cream and sugar in my coffee, right away when I awake. I face the day and pray to God I won't make the same mistakes. Oh, the rest is out of my hands. I'm learned to let go what I cannot change. I'm learned to forgive what I cannot change. I'm learned to love what I cannot change. But I will change. I will change whenever I can. Yeah, I don't know my father or my mother well enough. It seems like every time we talk, we can't get past a little stuff. Pain is self-inflicted. I know it's not good for my health, but it's easier to please the world than it is to please myself. Oh, the rest is out of my hands. I'm learned to let go what I cannot change. I've learned to forgive what I cannot change. I've learned to love what I cannot change. But I will change. I will change whenever I can. Right now I can't care about how everyone else will feel. I haven't not heard of my own to heal. I've learned to let go what I cannot change. I've learned to forgive what I cannot change. I've learned to let go what I cannot change. I've learned to forgive what I cannot change. I've learned to love what I cannot change. But I will change. I will change whenever I can.
I love that song. If you're someone who likes mantras, there's another version of that it's a chant the whole time. I will learn to let go of what I cannot change. And by using that mantra, you can really let go of the things that weigh you down. You can really create that empty space within you where the mystical power needs to reside. So I appreciate everyone showing up today. I do want to just a few quick reminders. So if you are looking for more information, remember you can go over to the Love is Greater Than Fear website, loveisgreaterthanfear.org, get more information about our classes, get more information about counseling sessions. And remember, in this ministry, if you can't afford something, just let me know. We do scholarships for this. so that we can provide this stuff for people for free when needed. Also, remember that if you want to make a donation to our GoFundMe, we're halfway to our goal. And so having this nonprofit status is really going to help out the center. It's going to help you guys that donate to us be able to write this off on your taxes. It's also going to pave the way for one day having a building and having a physical center, and being able to do more to spread our message of personal and planetary awakening. So I invite you to join with me again for our spiritual declaration. So let's everyone say out loud together: I surrender this day to God, that he may lead me to deeper peace, greater love, and fuller life expression. I surrender all my fears and desires to him. I ask that he show me the path from fear to love. Amen. I believe if you said that prayer that you have now dedicated your day to God. Keep your eyes open. There will be a miracle for you today. Next Sunday, we will be back at 10 a.m. Next Sunday, we're going to continue our theme of mysticism and miracles, and we're going to have a conversation about the door to God. I'll tell you more about that next Sunday. If you do want to make a donation, remember, GoFundMe is on the Facebook page. It's pinned at the top. Or you can donate via PayPal to @LoveIsGreaterCenter. You guys have been amazing, as always. It's always an honor to be able to come into your homes and into your hearts with the message that God is guiding me to deliver every Sunday. So be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that social media stuff. Help us spread our message. And until next time, love one another. Bye, guys. Happy Sunday.